So winter fishing on commercial fisheries for silverfish is massively popular up and down the country now, and it is very much a big part of my fishing during the winter months. But what I've been doing is something a bit different this winter. I've been coming here to the matches at Hampton Springs, where they've had their ever so popular open matches for the last month or so. And the silverfish matches here are a bit different in that F1s are allowed. So the way that you fish is quite different. You know what I mean? You have to think about what you're doing. But as I said, they're predominantly silverfish matches. I'm trying to catch as many silvers as I can. And my go-to when it comes to silverfish matches, my absolute favourite way of fishing is without doubt what we call tappy pellet fishing. Yeah, fishing videos we've done in the past. A video that Andy May has just covered recently up at Border Fisheries, which involves feeding small amounts of crushed expander, tiny expanders on the hook, and a few micro pellets. For me, that is the number one way in targeting skimmers and F1s at these type of venues. I mean, small, shallow lakes, I mean, with a lot of fish in them as well, but it's a nice selective way of fishing. However, what I have been finding definitely coming up here is by fishing in that way, it's great when you're on them, but what you do, you miss out on all the other fish, which are ever so important. Now that the weights are quite low, you're sort of fishing for, well, say low, 20 to 30 pound of silvers. By being too selective with pellets, which is great, you can do that on one line, you're missing out on all the good fish, all the weird fish, all the chub, the eye, the roach and the perch, more importantly, which there are a hell of a lot of, some great big hybrids as well in this lake that don't like that way of feeding. So what I've been thinking of, and this actually come from the boss himself, from Jakey, I was talking to him a while ago about feeding in a different way for fish, in that they still want minimal piles of bait. You can't feed much bait, you blow your peg to bits. The water's freezing. It's really clear. They just shy away from it if you introduce a load of bait. So I wanted a way of feeding that condensed my bait, kept things really tight, was very attractive, but with minimal feed, and I could just go on an area without upsetting the fish. I could have one area, catch everything, but the biggest thing is that it needed to be a method of catching everything. Yeah, I didn't need to miss out on these roach, big bonus perch, all these other fish. So after chatting to him, the bestest way is feeding little balls of stodgy ground bait. Yeah, ground bait's allowed up here now for the first time this year, which is brilliant. It's made us be able to fish in different ways. And I've been able to play about with ground baits to find one that does what I wanted to do. I'll elaborate a bit more on that. I wanted a ground bait that I could feed a minimal amount, nice little tiny bit, and it stayed for as long as possible, because I've not got a big head of fish feeding over it. They're not clearing my ground bait out. It's almost an attention grabber without upsetting them, and I can just fish around it with maggots, casters, worms, whatever, and pick an odd fish off. So that's what I'm going to go through today. The new little method, well, not the new, but my thinking around fishing in a non-selective way, so I catch pretty much anything. How I keep my peg off, how I top it up, all that sort of stuff. And the base mix is we ground bait that are prepared already. Yeah, with that one, I've gone from these two bad boys. Bit of Super Sweet, Mr. May's favourite ground bait in the world, and the most important one, Thatcher's Dark. Yeah, both ground bait mixes really dark because, as I say, the water, it's like flipping tap water. It is ridiculous. And I've got that mix, really importantly, I've just mixed it nice and dry to begin with. Yeah, and just make a ball out of it, but I mixed it last night. I want to mix this the night before, because the most important thing, and the reason why I've chosen those two ground baits, is to kill any activity. Yeah, I don't want my ground bait to be fizzing. I don't want any fizzy active stuff in my ground bait. I want a ridiculously dormant ground bait, but it needs to have an element of cereal sort of things involved in it, which is where the Thatcher's comes in, because I need a ground bait that binds ridiculously well. Yeah, 'cause in its current form, I could feed it like that. It binds in a nice ball, but I know as soon as I feed that, it's going to break down and go into a big cloud really quickly. So I've got my ground bait mixed, just a pint in there. That'll do a flipping a whole session. A pint is absolutely tons. I've got it mixed so all the particles have absorbed as much water as they can. Yeah, they're not going to suck any in, but I need to spoil it. Yeah, I don't want to do this at first. I just want my pint of ready mixed stuff. I'm just going to get a full tub of, a full 150ml pot. I'm going to put that in and give that a mix and see what it does. And it should clag it right up. And I really want to mix it quick to almost stodge it up to make it a bit pasty. Which that now, in its current form, let me get rid of him, is exactly how you want it. You can see there, it's pretty much a lump of paste. Yeah, in the summer, you won't mind putting that on the hook, fishing down the edge for a great big wobbly carp. But for now, it's what I want, because I know I can feed. I can get a little lump like this. I can squish it about. Let me grab one. He went in. I can squish it like that, give it a right good knead, and you end up with just a lump of stodgy paste, and that'll sit on the bottom exactly like that if I feed it for up to half an hour. Yeah, there's very, very little breakdown in it because it's absorbed everything already. It just sits there really happy, like a lump of paste on the bottom. So you're attracting the fish to it, but there is pretty much no feed for them to have. There's just a lump of flipping putty on the bottom. And it can be absolutely mega for skipping about your peg, having that fed in a couple of lines. Say it's the attraction that you're doing. And then if you're fishing over the top of it with your hook bait of whatever, your single maggot normally, but whatever you want, caster, worm, you can put anything over the top of it. It's a lovely homing in point for the fish that they want to mooch about. They don't want to eat, they can't eat, so in turn it keeps your peg lasting a hell of a long time without introducing loads of bait into it. So let's get rid of that one, and I'm going to go straight in with topping pegs up. I'm going to feed me peg. I'll quickly talk to you about a rig, just give my peg time to settle, and we'll show you what's going on. So I've got my ground bait there ready mixed. Yeah, what I'm going to do is add a tiny little pinch, just that many, of dead maggots to it. Yeah, absolutely nothing in a pint of ground bait. So hardly anything. My ball that I'm going to feed is probably going to have 3 or 4 maggots in at the most, just to give it something. I mean, we might get an odd little bit falling off, and I'm going to make that the size of a what's that? A sprout, Jake, we're going to say. Size of a sprout. Little tiny ball like that. Absolutely nothing. So you can see that pint, it'll last flipping. It'll last 2 sessions. And if I top it up 5 or 6 times on 2 lines, I'm still going to get through an absolutely tiny amount of bait. You can see that's just going to sit there on the bottom, attract fish, but hopefully they're still going to home in on my bait. So for today, I'm just going to feed 1 line. But what I would definitely do if I'm fishing a match is feed several. Yeah, I'd happily put that little ball in 3 or 4 areas of my peg and skip about it trying to find the fish. Yeah, it's just about attracting little groups, catching 1 or 2, upsetting them, moving to the next. But your bait's always there when you leave your peg as well. So until you stop seeing any activity or stop getting bites, there is no need to top up. You can just keep on switching through your lines, finding where those fish are. So I'm going to put this in really quick. Just on this line. Slightly to me right with a nice dark bit of water there. And I want to be really accurate. Really, really accurate. So I'm holding the joint of my dolly butt and I'm plopping him in there. It looks so insignificant, doesn't it? Let me get that little bad boy in there. But I can see it's fizzing straight away. Yeah, I don't know if it'll pick up on the camera, but I can see where the bait is. Just a few little bits of oils or whatever in it. They just show you where it's gone in the lake, which is lovely. You can actually see it down the edge where I've thrown a few. There is a bit of oil going on. Right, rig-wise. Let me whiz him off. So, again, it's going back to something that Matt Godfrey taught me years and years and years ago. The way I'm feeding, you need to have your rig suitable for the way the fish are responding to the feed. Yeah? So in this case, my feed is very, 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 very condensed. So the fish aren't going to be moving about. They're going to be quite dormant. They're only going to be moving very, very small spaces in small area in my peg. So they're not feeding sort of freely. They're not whizzing all over the gaff, eating me loose feed. In turn, because of that, I need my rig to show up bites better. That's the way I look at things in the winter. You've either got your loose fed line that you can fish a nice strung out rig, the fish are whizzing all over the place, they're going to show bites up, or you've got your pellet mentality where your bait's really, really tight and you're looking to just see that little movement on your float, which is what this is all about. Yeah, so I've got a decent float, I've got a 0.5 on, I've got a 0.5 finesse carbon on, really delicate bristle. It's what I need to show bites up. I mean, I talk about this in every video I do. The importance in the winter of having a delicate bristle that shows things up it's massive. I mean, it increases my catch rate by 50% with the bites that I can see. Makes a massive, massive difference. And in there, I'm fishing that in about 5 foot. He's fell off there, so let me whiz him back on. So yeah, 5 foot rig, 0.5, gives me plenty of shot down the line just to keep things nice and still. And then talking to shot in, it's really, really nice and positive. So all in the bottom 2 foot. Yeah, that's where the shot in is. And I've literally got a spread bulk of number 9s leading to 2 number 10 droppers at the bottom. Yeah, but it's just a nice tapered spread all through the bottom. A taper is what I use for 99% of my fishing during the winter on these commercial fisheries. You don't need anything else. Yeah, you want a taper or a complete spread. The two shotting patterns cover everything, but this one, it's very much about a taper. So I've got a number 10 there just on my hook length loop. That's going to show bites up enough. A number 10 with a maggot on is enough to be able to keep my rig nice and stable but show bites quickly. As soon as a fish moves, I'm going to see a bite nice and quick. The same stuff that I talk about very, very, very regular. Line and all that suited to what you're fishing for. Today we're fishing for an odd roach, an odd big hybrid, a bit of all sorts. I've got an 010 hook length. I've got one of our silverfish, the Matrix X4 hooks. I'm absolutely loving them for my silverfish. There's just something about them. They're nice and strong. I land me perch, which is really, really important for me, that the hook goes into the perch when I'm catching them, and I can land my F1s as well. So have a go at them if you haven't had to try them. And then I've got 014 mainline. Nice and delicate, match to a 1mm slick elastic. I've been right onto that this year, which is weird. Normally I was a solid elastic fan during the winter months, but my boss gave me a load of 1mm, and I'm actually really liking it, specifically for skimmers. When I'm catching skimmers, it's definitely the one. But anyway, enough waffling. So I'm going to go straight over my spot. That is the first bait that I have fed into my peg. I mean, which is absolutely nothing, needle in a haystack in it. This is all I need to attract these fish at this time of the year. So line everything up. I know the water's moving right to left. I'm just going to lower my rig beautifully right over that spot. Let's get my back shot in, sink in, and just hold him as still as I possibly can. I mean, the area you're working with is tiny. So if your rig's moving through, you're wasting your time feeding in this way. It's about being able to hold it, stupidly accurate, just sitting there waiting for one to come and bump into that ground bait. Find my maggot, as it's the only one there. Maybe get an indication, don't know. Might have been a dodgy back shot bite that, but it looked like an indication. Just lower him in nice. So something like that. That was on the drop. That though, roaches nailed that on the drop. I'm not gonna treat that as working, but it is a fish that I wouldn't catch on pellets, and that is the key to this. It's about putting fish in the net while still keeping what I consider the correct way of feeding in order to catch the bonus fish, me skimmers, which is what I'm hoping to catch later on in the session. But in the meantime, I'm putting other fish in my net. I'm not being anywhere near as selective as I am with my tappy pellet type fishing. And because I fed in this way, as I said, I'm getting the quick response still. So the fish are still straight on it, just as they were with micros and crush. And I'm getting a quick response, but off anything. So hopefully these silverfish, the roach, perch and weird things, are going to fill all the little gaps in, and in turn lead to a bit of a bigger weight at the end. See, it's mad, isn't it? That little bit of nothing, and the fish are immediately on it. It's flipping crazy. And I swear, if I'd have fed a volume today, if I'd have fed a proper ball of ground bait and loose fed, you just blow your peg to absolute pieces. They're frightened to death of any bait going in for some reason. Like, it's absolutely solid. So the weird fish, you've just got to fish them out. If I'm catching a little roach on the drop, then I'm not worried for a second. So I'm not worried for a second that bait has even been disturbed. Nothing is eating it because they're not on it. These fish are just eating my maggot because that little bit of ground bait has attracted them into the peg. But it's still nice that something's going in the net. So let me whiz back out. Just like to get one decent fish with a bit of luck. See what's going on, but it'll be quite interesting to see as well how long this peg lasts. So introducing nothing, I've got no pot on, no anything. There's no other loose feed in the peg for them to have other than the 3 or 4 dead maggots that went in with the initial feed. Look, it's flipping ridiculous. Tiny fish on the drop. I'm going to put double maggot on this one, try and be a bit more, try and get past them little ones. I might even put 2 dead ones on, just to get it right down there. 2 dead ends in the pointy end. It's got a skimmer written all over that, hasn't it? So what I'd have done, where I said I'd fish this on multiple lines, still I've not got to because I'm just demonstrating it for you lot, but I'd feed me other line when this one starts to slow down. I wouldn't feed them all initially because then I've got no, there we go, there's a proper in. I've got no gauge as to what's going on in my peg. Whereas this one, off that one little bit of bait, what is this? This is what it's all about, catching these weird fish like this. Oh, I love this. How good is this? What's he going to be? Yeah, as I was saying, I'd feed me other lines when this one starts to fade, and I'd want to move to it then, because I don't want it to be cleared out before I go on it. But eventually you're going to end up with 2 or 3 lines rotated. What is this? Please be a roach. I think he's a roach. And by having the 2 lines just there, or 2 or 3 lines just to rotate, you can put fish in the net all day long. He's a hybrid. By feeding the absolute minimal, having 0 chance of spoiling your peg, because you're feeding such a tiny bit. And the biggest thing, the biggest reason of doing this video was to keep your fish unselected. So you're catching absolutely everything. A fish like that, a big hybrid, you literally do not catch a fish like that on pellets. But by fishing in this way, it just gives me the chance of catching a little bit of everything, put more fish in my net, and ultimately just have a far better day's fishing. You know what I mean? It's nice catching a bit of everything at this time of year. So, bit of a short and sweet one, but have a think about it. When you're fishing for them silvers during the winter months, it's not just about being selective with pellets. Yeah, give yourself some options, put other fish in your net. You'll have a far, far better day's fishing. So, hope you like that. As I said earlier on in the video, if you've not, go and have a look at Andy's video as well. That was a great one about pellet fishing, about tapping pellets. If you can use the both sort of methods for your commercial fishing, it pretty much covers every option you're going to have when it comes to these shallow silverfish commercials. So yeah, if you've not already, please feel free to click like and subscribe at the bottom, and you'll be notified for any future videos that myself or the Sonubaits consultants put on YouTube. And other than that, I'll see you very soon. Hopefully it'll be a bit warmer, and yeah, let's catch some carp on the next one.